Greetings and welcome to episode 3 of Like a House of Fire, Cage Side Seats video podcast thing. My name is Sean Rueter. I am a writer and editor at CagesideSeats.com, the greatest pro wrestling community on the interwebs, and this is a show that I do, and it's the third episode of it. That's why I was saying all that stuff before. So the idea behind it is that it's a quick, hopefully no more than 10 minutes, although I've gone way over that once and a little bit under that the other time, where we just hit on some current topics and I try to tie them together and make it sort of interesting. And there you go. So that's what I'm going to do. Today I'm broadcasting to you live from backstage at the Impact Zone. It was better than the last place I was, which actually did just look like a supply closet where the Shield used to film their promos. Maybe I should have done that. But anyway, what's going on this week? This week, well, we started off at Battleground, which I'm not going to go into a review of that. There's a podcast that's just me and Matt Roth talking about that. But at Battleground, Lana Lang, Superman's girlfriend from when he was in high school, Lana, the Ravishing Russian, cut a little promo where she alluded to the downing of the Malaysian Airlines flight that, resulted in the deaths of 300 people. And some folks got pretty worked up about that. It got some mainstream coverage. WWE had to issue a statement on it that was clearly not an apology. If you're not caught up on any of this stuff, check the stuff below me here in the post. I'll put some links to some places on Cage Side where we've talked about these topics so you can get a little background information. So that happened, and it's just sort of like, I mean, I think even the people who defended it, nobody's like, that was great, I love that they did that. And that's my issue with it, is that I'm not going to sit here and be morally outraged. As if you read my stuff, I've sort of got some scabs built up around being a pro wrestling fan. They usually have to do with things like this, things like the way they portray women and minorities, and generally insult my intelligence with, poop jokes that, even though I might chuckle at them occasionally, I mostly outgrew a long time ago. So what's the big deal then? I mean, if it's something that we sort of expect but aren't proud of and move along, for me it's that it's lazy. It does a couple of things. One, it makes the WWE look like what people think of pro wrestling as, which is, it's for children and the uneducated, and I think it can be more than that. I think WWE routinely is more than that, so it's disappointing that that's what happens. It's also what continues to shoot them in the foot. I think, one of the main reasons for the crappy television deal that they just had to sign is that they don't have a very good advertising demographic. People look at the ratings and say, yeah, that doesn't mean anything because those people don't have any money. They're kids and they're uneducated. And this is the kind of stuff that reinforces that. So yes, did they get some free publicity out of it? Could they do a little, not taking any responsibility apology for it? Sure. And, life goes on and most of us are still watching, even though we might have really been disturbed by it for a little bit. But it doesn't help anybody in the long run. It's something that, at best later on gets made fun of. And that's not the kind of publicity that they need. There's no such thing as bad press. Well, there's not good press, at least, and I would lump this in there with that. And the other thing is, like I said, it's cheap. These characters don't speak to me at all. But I understand if someone is of a little bit more of a patriotic bent or something, I'm Matt Roth on the post-show podcast that we do, is of that America, he's the USA guy, and I understand that. I mean, I've been that way at times in the past. It's just with these characters, it's not working for me for a ton of different reasons that probably would take me longer than to send me way over 10 minutes to rant about why Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter aren't good characters right now. But that's the thing, they're not good characters, and having Lana come out and say something that actually upsets a big chunk of your audience, causes non-fans to make fun of you and say, see, I told you that's what you've always been, and as a result still doesn't fire anybody else anymore up about the feud and the characters that's pointless. That's lazy. It doesn't. I mean, there's no benefit from it. If somebody can tell me that there's a benefit from it, then I'm all for it. I mean, but to me, the most important thing that happened on Sunday night in the Swagger Rusev angle is that Rusev proved that he can sell, and he's still selling that angle, and that to me invests me a lot more in this feud than, you know, a wink wink comment that's just asinine. So that's it. It doesn't do anything for the characters. It hurts the overall image of the product and the whole art form, genre, whatever you want to call it. It makes it harder for fans who want more, expect more of it, to stay with the product. It's the kind of thing that creates lapsed fans. And so like I said, it's not adding anything. It's cheap. It's so far away from the best of what they can do, which is something like the Shield story, which is just, it's simple. You know, I don't need to see America versus Russia. I need to see three guys that banded together and accomplished a bunch of stuff because they had each other's backs, and then one of them turns their backs, and then holy shit, we're all in. We want to see what happens next. That it's really basic storytelling. But they did it beautifully, and it's the kind of thing I can proudly say to somebody, watch this. You might not dig it as much as I do, but I'm not embarrassed by it. And another thing, on Monday night, the Stephanie Brie angle, which again, I wasn't as high on it as a lot of people were, but there's nothing wrong there. That's basic storytelling. It ties into some older stuff. It doesn't hurt at all, and that's the kind of stuff that is good PR beyond that, because these are the kind of short little morality plays that WWE can pay off, and they tie into the Be a Star stuff, and they tie into the Make-A-Wish and the Special Olympic stuff that they're trying, the good work that they're doing. Whereas something like Lana taking that crack about Russia and their involvement in world affairs, whatever she was talking about, or, not there being no reprimand for Jerry Lawler thinking it's funny to look at a 21-year-old's ass, outside of the context of his character. Those are the kind of things that they don't tie in. They're completely in conflict to all of that good stuff that they're trying to do other places. And it's, when you can do the good stuff, why not always do the good stuff? Why do you have to go back to that well? You're not gonna solve any geopolitical issues by having Swagger and Rusev face off, by having Rusev face anybody. There is no resolution to that. It's just, sound and fury signifying nothing. And, like I said, maybe there is a place for it, and that's fine. Run the feud, have it off in the corner. It's not my cup of tea. At least I can get a good hoss fight out of it. But when you do the crack about the airlines, that takes everybody out of it, and not in a good way, not in a way that serves the story. So just to wrap those up, and another sort of hot topic this week is Xavier Woods came out on Monday night and recruited the recently aligned tag team of Kofi Kingston and Biggie Langston to his services, I guess. We haven't really gotten a promo saying that he's a manager or that they're going to be just a team or if it's going to be a bigger stable. It's got people buzzing about new Nation of Domination. Makes me really nervous because, like when they think that they're being sophisticated about global politics, we get Lana making that comment, and we get, Vladimir Putin Photoshop sessions, and WWE thinking that they're going to do any sort of like racial politics or racial identity story or something. To me, again, I'm nervous. There's no reason to be nervous so far other than just their history and pro wrestling's history of it. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully I'm not getting worked up about nothing, and it's just that it's a total coincidence that Xavier Woods has an X in his name and he came out wearing horn-rimmed glasses. I hope that's, has nothing to do with Biggie Langston picking up, not Langston, sorry, cut the Langston. Has nothing to do with Biggie talking like a Southern preacher, starting to talk like a Southern preacher a few weeks back. Hopefully hopefully this will be a story like The Shield, where we will get to see these guys and Mark Henry maybe, or Darren Young if they add him to it, relate to each other as people in a way that makes us cheer them or boo them, and then we get, a twist to that where there becomes conflict between them and other parties and conflict between each other, and we can enjoy some athletic exhibitions in the midst of a little story that we like. And again, if it ends up being something where, maybe if it is you know, these guys are identifying themselves by their race, and one of them says, hey, I don't want to do that, I just want to be the best performer, and then that's the conflict. That's the kind of thing that you can take to a partner like Make-A-Wish or Be a Star or whoever, and be proud of, and not have to say, oh yeah, we try not to do so much of that stuff anymore. I mean, it's basic, but it's got a good message and it works for people. And when you've seen that they can do that, hopefully that's the formula that will replicate, not the, oh, but wrestling has always been sexist and jingoistic and everything else, so we have to look past that. I don't want to look past that anymore. I want to see more of the kind of stories that I like, that I can be, you know, if not proud of, at least not embarrassed by, and I don't think that's too much to ask. So that is Like a House of Fire, episode 3. Be back hopefully later this week when I can do the 4 horsemen symbol with my hands, and we'll find something else to talk about. Keep it on Cage-Eyed Seats. Check out these links down here. Make some comments. Tell your friends. Rueter Machka. Deal with it.